Hi, and welcome to Lamplighter Podcast. My name is Rebecca, and this is my squirrel friend, Momo.
Hello, kids!
We have an exciting story for you today. In each of our stories, we are going to learn about one virtue. A virtue is anything that is good and right and true. Virtues are like little lights that shine bright and beautiful in a story.
Can I tell them about letters from Momo?
Go ahead.
I want to send you a real letter in the mail once a month. In my letters, I will tell you more silly forest stories, talk about virtues, and show you a real historical person who practiced that virtue. Oh, and I'll also talk about acorns.
If you would like to get letters from Momo in the mail once a month, just ask your adult to visit lamplighterkids.com. If you sign up before the 20th, you will get a letter from Momo for that month. Visit lamplighterkids.com for more information. So, are you ready? Come and listen while we light the way to your imagination.
I'm not scared, not one little bit, 'cause boats are fun and I'm not scared of it.
Hi, Momo.
Ah!
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. What song are you singing? It's about boats?
Yes, it's about boats because, well, I'm going on a boating trip with my friends later today, and as you know, I don't like being on the water. I'm not a very good swimmer, and I just don't think squirrels are meant to be water animals. We're more of the tree type of animals. So, I made that song to help me not feel so scared.
Oh, that's a smart idea. Singing songs can help us feel a little less scared. You know, you don't have to go on the trip with your friends if you don't want to. I'm sure they'd understand.
Oh, I know, but I really don't want to miss all the fun. Duffy and Dolores will be there and lots of other friends. I think once I'm on the boat, I'll have a fun time. I'm just a little nervous waiting for it.
Well, I understand that. Sometimes it's scarier to think about doing something than to actually do it. Well, I just happen to have a story for you about water and boats and even pirates today.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Maybe I'll just cozy up right here and listen. That's a better plan than singing my song over and over and over for the next few hours while I wait for my boating trip to start.
Sounds good. Our story today doesn't start out on boats, though. It starts out in a grocery store with a boy and his mom. Mom, look, it's that cereal I've always wanted. Jack jumped up and down in the breakfast aisle of the grocery store, pointing at a bright green box on the shelf. What's that, dear? Jack's mother was absent-mindedly reading the back of a boring brown cereal box. It's that amazing cereal that I had at Mima's house one time. It's called Jack and Snaps, which is why Mima bought it, just like my name. Can we get it, please, Mom? It was so good. The little round pieces pop in your mouth as you eat them. Jack grabbed the box and held it in front of his mother's face. Jack and Snaps, she said, inspecting the box. Why is there a picture of pirates here? She pointed to the front of the colorful box, where a deck of pirates stood, sailing their ship on an ocean of round, green and pink Jack and Snap cereals. I don't know, but it makes it even cooler, right? You know how much I love old ships. Jack looked at his mom with big, begging eyes. This looks a little too exciting for my taste, Jack. Sorry. Why don't we just let Mima get this for you next time you're with her? She's much better at all that exciting food stuff. Jack watched sadly as his mother put the Jack and Snaps box back on the shelf and began to push her cart further up the aisle. He took one last look at the bright picture of pirates and their shiny ship on the front of the cereal box, then followed his mom with a sigh. He couldn't wait to visit his Mima again to get another bowl of Jack and Snaps. Good night, Jackie boy. Jack's father planted a big scratchy kiss on his forehead as he tucked the covers tight. "Tomorrow's the weekend. What do you say we work on our model ship together, huh? We got some real mahogany wood pieces to glue on it tomorrow." Jack smiled and nodded at his dad, then watched as he left, shutting the door softly behind him. In the quietness of his room, Jack looked up where a dozen pirate ships hung down from thin strings on his ceiling. His dad and he had made every single one of those ships together, a favorite pastime of theirs. Every time they finished one, Jack's dad would hang them on the ceiling of his room, making it look like a magical land of floating ships up above. Jack loved gazing at the ships as they swayed slightly in the breeze of the open window. It always lulled him to sleep. His eyes began to feel heavy as he watched the ships. Suddenly, though, his eyes opened wide. Was he imagining things, or was his bed rocking back and forth? He held his breath, wondering if he was going crazy, but then he felt it again. His bed rose and fell as if it was floating on water. Jack reached over the side of his bed and gasped when he felt cold water splashing up against his fingers. What was this much water doing in his room? With slight panic, Jack whipped his covers over his head, wondering what in the world was happening to his room. Jack's covers came flying off, and he found himself blinded by a bright light. The noise of splashing waves and the sharp smell of salty water overwhelmed him as he squeezed his eyes shut against the light.
"Arr, I see we have a stowaway here, isn't that right, laddie? Ah, well, don't you worry. Captain Valentino is the kindest pirate on the seven seas. You're welcome here upon my ship as long as you work hard like the rest of 'em."
Jack opened his eyes slowly, adjusting them to the light, and took in the scene in front of him. There was a man in front of Jack, dressed just like an old-fashioned pirate, with a large black captain's hat on his head.
"Well, what's your name, stowaway? I need to be barking orders to someone with a name, you see."
Jack, Jack said meekly.
"Jack! Ha 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 ha! Well, if that ain't a coincidence."
The captain laughed heartily.
"Well, Jack, get up and get to work. Start manning the deck. We're just moments away from reaching Jack and Snap Island, where the legendary Jack and Snap treasure lays waiting for us."
Captain Valentino turned, searching the faces on the ship.
"Ariana," he called, "over here."
A young girl stepped out of the crowd of burly men and made her way over to them. "Yes, Papa?" she said.
"We've got ourselves a stowaway here. Can you please show him the ropes? Make sure he works good and hard. We've got to get to Jack and Snap Island before dark."
"Yes, Papa," said Ariana. With that, Captain Valentino spun on his boots and clicked away up the deck, barking orders to his men left and right. "I must be dreaming," Jack whispered to himself. "Jack and Snap Island? Jack and Snap treasure? That's not real. It's cereal." "Well, if this is a dream," the girl next to him said, "then why can't I fly?" She smiled at Jack and handed him a rope, although I don't know what you mean by cereal. "Oh, it's nothing," said Jack, looking out across the deck at the ocean that surrounded all around them. How in the world had he gotten here? "Well, anyway, it's nice to have another kid my age on the ship. It can get a little boring hanging out with old pirates all day, even if they are nice ones. But I don't really have a choice, right? Considering the captain is my dad. Here, tie that rope over here." The rest of the afternoon, Jack found himself beginning to enjoy this strange adventure. Of course, he couldn't make sense of how he had arrived on the ship in the first place, but once he was over the shock, he started to feel more and more amazed at the fact that he was on a real pirate ship. As Ariana taught him how to pull and tie and change certain ropes, Jack found himself admiring all the pieces of the ship. He had only seen them in their tiny versions before, the ones that he and his dad glued together. Being on a real ship was something else. Well, Papa said we're just a couple hours away from Jack and Snap Island, so we better get some rest before we arrive. Ariana stretched her arms above her head. She plopped down on the wood and pulled out a sack of hard cheese from her belt, offering one to Jack. Thanks, Jack said, sitting and taking a bite. So, did I hear your dad say something about treasure on the island? Oh, yes. My dad's been looking for this treasure for nearly 2 years now. It's the magical Jack and Snap treasure. Jack snickered. The thought of a magical cereal was too much for him to hold in. I don't know why you keep laughing when we talk about Jack and Snap Island and Jack and Snap treasure, Ariana said, confused. But it's a very famous treasure. It's said that the treasure has magical powers to grant one wish to the person who finds it. Papa already knows his wish when he finds it. Papa has wanted a new 5-mast, 100-foot, pure mahogany ship for ages now. So that's what he's gonna wish for once we get the treasure. It'll be so fun to sail on a new ship like that. The pirates around Ariana and Jack cheered as they heard them talking about their new dream ship. And then, as pirates often do, they broke out into a sailing song.
Oh, a pirate's life is a life for me, sailing on the 7 seas, looking for our Jack and Snap treasure so we can get a ship that's a whole lot better. Oh, we're so close we can feel it now. Just move the sails, point the bow. Soon we'll find ourselves to be on a big ship made of mahogany.
As the song ended, a cry rang from the eagle's nest above.
Land ho!
With those simple words, the mood on the ship changed completely. Everyone began to move very fast, pulling ropes and changing sails to head the ship toward the distant spot of land. Jack and Ariana jumped up, swallowing their last bits of cheese quickly, and began helping around the deck. Captain Valentino came out from his quarters and took hold of the steering wheel, a look of excitement and longing in his eyes.
All right, everyone, this is it!
He roared over all the excitement.
Jack and Snap Island! Turn the sails! Move the hull! We're heading towards our treasure!
Jack and Snap Island was not the tropical paradise that Jack had imagined. It was a hot and rocky land, a place where nobody could live. The only signs of life were scraggly trees, lizards, and the occasional snake that would slither away while the pack of pirates hiked further and further inland. They were following Captain Valentino's treasure map. Watch your step there! Ariana pointed to a spot in front of Jack where a small cactus with surprisingly large prickles lay. Thanks, said Jack, wiping sweat from his forehead and going around it. So, how much longer do you think we need to hike here? And do you really think there's a treasure? This island doesn't strike me as a great place to hide a treasure. There's nothing here. Well, my dad has been searching for so long, he seems to think that this is the right place. They both looked ahead as Captain Valentino walked confidently onward, leading the sweaty group of pirates. In his hands was the map. Jack could just make out a large red X on the far corner of it. The pathway began to rise sharply up, causing everyone to pant and gasp even more as they climbed the tall, rocky hill. Jack was beginning to wish that he hadn't found himself in this adventure after all, when a loud voice cried out from up ahead.
Smoking wooden planks!
Captain Valentino yelled. He had reached the top of the rocky hill and was looking out over the other side, a shocked look on his face. Everyone stopped behind him, breathing heavily, wondering if he had found the treasure already.
I can't believe it, he finally said. A green valley in the middle of this desert, and what's more, a village full of people.
The pirates all looked at each other and then, as quickly as possible, hiked the rest of the way to stand with Captain Valentino on the top of the hill. Sure enough, they all saw it. Right in the middle of all these tall, rocky hills, there was a lush green valley below. A shining river flowed through, and green grass covered the ground. Palm trees sprouted up everywhere. Scattered amongst the trees stood dozens and dozens of mud houses.
Look,
One of the pirates pointed.
there's the people, and they see us. They're pointing up here at us. Captain, what if they aren't, friendly? What if they get mad that we're here on their island?
Captain Valentino watched as several men and women from the village below began to make their way towards them.
Let's just hope that's not the case. We don't have time to run back to our ship anyhow. We've got to greet these people as kindly as possible and hope with all our might that they be friendly folk. What? There's other people on the island? What will the pirates do? And I hope those people are friendly. What about their treasure? I hope Jack finds his way back home too. Oh.
Those are all great questions, Momo, and we'll have to wait until our next episode to find out.
Well, I guess that's okay. It's almost time for me to go on my own boating adventure anyways. So I better go find my arm floaties. Can't be on a boat without arm floaties after all. Especially when you're not a good swimmer. Maybe I can pretend that I'm Jack and I'm sailing with a bunch of pirates while I'm on my boat today. Arrgh!
That sounds fun, Momo. I'd love to join you, but I think your boat may be a little too small for me. Maybe I'll just come and wave at you from the shore today.
Arr, that sounds great, matey. I'm Pirate Momo in search of a great lost treasure of acorns. Arrgh. Acorn treasure, here I come!
Well, there goes Momo, off to his fun pretend adventure. I sure hope he finds that acorn treasure. And I also hope that Jack, Ariana, and Captain Valentino find their own Jack and Snap treasure as well. I look forward to coming back and sharing part 2 of our pirate adventure with you very soon. Thanks for listening to Lamplighter Podcast today. If you liked our story, please leave us a review. It really helps other listeners find these stories. If you're interested in subscribing to Letters from Momo, just visit our website at lamplighterkids.com. I also love to hear from my listeners. You can email me anytime at lamplighterkids@gmail.com.